I'm Michael Fox, and this is the Prospector Podcast. And we're on location live at the Current Trends in Mining Finance Conference put on by the New York chapter of the SME. And I've got a real treat today. A very important person that I follow religiously in what they do. Dr. Peter Megaw is sitting across from me and joining me for an interesting conversation. Welcome, Dr. Megaw.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Good to be here.
It's very good to have you. I want to talk very specifically about something that happened last week. You were the former chief exploration officer for Mag Silver, and last week they just received a 2.1 billion, that's with a B, folks, offer to buy out their company by Pan American Silver. And I wanted to get your insights into how that's all come about and the significance of the purchase.
Well, it's been a long haul. It was 30 years ago this year that I first kicked the first rock on the Juanicipio property. It was 7 years after that that the property came into the hands of the group that we formed Mag Silver with. So I was co-founder of the company. We had worked on the property for 3 years for the original Sunshine Mining Company, which was I think the third oldest company on the New York Stock Exchange. And after 9/11, they went terminally bankrupt. But we got all of that information, all the work that we did. We had it permitted for Sunshine. It reverted to the Mexican property owner, who was a good friend of mine. We optioned it from him, dusted off the permits, put a new name on it, turned them in for MAG, had a drill rig on the property 3 weeks after we went public in April of 2003. And we hit on the first hole. So our geologic concept was proven that the Fresnillo district, which was at that point the world's second largest silver district, was bigger than people thought. And we joined forces with what was then Peñoles, who later spun out Fresnillo PLC, London-listed precious metal company. And with the joint venture and the 16th hole drilled on the property, we hit the Valdecañas vein, which is now the biggest known vein in that district. And based on our work, the district is now the world's biggest primary silver district.
Yeah, all coming from you kicking rocks.
That's what geologists do, and every once in a while we kick the right rock.
Absolutely. So Pan American Silver has bought this. How did that sale come about into being?
They had been interested in the property for some time and decided, I guess, that now was the time. And actually, this is several months ago, since these things don't happen overnight. Did very deep due diligence and hammered out an offer that would work for MAG.
Wonderful. And where does a $2.1 billion offer sit for other silver companies being taken over or other mining companies out of Mexico? Is it top 10, top 100, top 50?
I think it may be the top. I'm not 100%. As far as silver is concerned, I'm pretty sure it's the biggest dollar buyout. I know it's the biggest premium. And, this is now the third significant silver deal we've seen in Mexico. And, Mexico being the place to be on the planet for silver, 25% of all the silver mined in human history has come from Mexico. And if you look around the world, there's about 15 or 16 districts that have produced over 1 billion ounces of silver. More than half of them are in Mexico. So it's where you want to be for big silver. And the Fresnillo district is the biggest silver district on the planet, 3.3 billion ounces of production plus resources. So it's an obvious thing to want to plug into. MAG, we explored the property far enough to get the Valdecañas vein into production, which has got at least another 14 years mine life, I believe, based on, I can't remember which is the last resource study that went out, but we've only explored 5% of the property. So there's enormous exploration upside on the property.
So this could be a property that keeps giving for the new owner.
I believe that is their expectation too. I mean, what we've got is very nice, but the potential for there being more is very good.
Okay. Besides that particular property, what else did they acquire when they acquired Mag Silver?
They acquired the Deer Trail property in Utah and the Larder property in on the Cadillac Larder Break in the Abitibi. So gold project.
So a gold project and one in
and the one in Utah is a silver, lead, zinc, copper, gold.
okay. How far along were those projects? Obviously, the one in Mexico was in production. How far along are these other two projects?
The other two are in, I'd say they're past basic exploration. I mean, they're past the point where we're convinced there's something big there, but exploration has gotten very expensive in the U.S. So the holes at Deer Trail are running about $1 million a piece. The holes in Abitibi, that's some of the cheapest drilling in the world. And you drill a lot of holes to find what you're looking for because you're looking for basically vertical high-grade needles in the haystack. It takes a lot of drilling to make a discovery, but we're right on Main Street there, so we're very high on the potential there.
So they go through all of this. When does Pan American end up with possession of everything? Final, said, done?
There's the usual regulatory stuff. There's a shareholders meeting MAG shareholders get to vote on the whole thing. And then there's a Mexican monopoly commission who has to decide that Pan American buying MAG does not somehow create a monopoly.
Okay. And
since MAG is the junior partner in the joint venture with Fresnillo, it's hard to see how they would make that decision.
No, and Fresnillo still maintains their portion of the property.
Fresnillo still has 56%. They're still operator of the property. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't sound much like a monopoly to me.
No.
So where does this place Pan American Silver on the ranking of companies working in Mexico now?
Well, it boosts their production in Mexico. They have the La Colorada mine where they've made a substantial discovery of high grade replacement mineralization and the first indications of a skarn there. So that mine is doing very nicely for them. That's their principal operation in Mexico, but they have properties down through South America. I mean, they're, I believe, the world's biggest primary silver producer. So this bolsters their position in that regard quite nicely.
Yeah, so it's a nice fit for their company.
It's a nice fit for their company. I think it's a good fit for MAG shareholders because you're not a single asset company anymore. You have the advantage of the production that comes from all of the other properties, and you got to look at MAG. MAG had according to the offer, MAG's got a $2+ billion US offer, value, and 12 employees. So, it's taking on a whole lot more. I'm
rethinking my personal self-worth at $2.1 billion divided by 12. Sorry, Peter.
Yeah, it's a little less than 200 million per market cap per employee. Those are US dollars.
Yeah, I'm guessing I'm grotesquely undervalued all of a sudden.
Have you ever met anybody in this business who wasn't convinced they were grossly undervalued?
No. So that's a pretty good win for everybody concerned then. So
it's the you can think of it as the ultimate is it's a premium on a premium. Since MAG is very highly valued at the moment, the dollar value of the metals is very high at the moment, and then there's the premium on top of that. So I'm a MAG shareholder. I'm very happy with the deal.
Yeah, and if I were a MAG shareholder, I'd be very happy with the deal as well.
You just listened to me 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Well, you should have. Yeah, I know. But I was looking, going, well, it's already in, production, and my risk appetite's generally for non-producers. So,
yeah, but then MAG just started paying dividends the first quarter of this year. That was based on essentially the profits that were made last year. They announced a dividend for the first quarter of 2025. And of course, this is all based on sky high silver prices, which have helped a lot, but also announced that we're in payback. So we recovered all of the roughly $450 million that went into putting that mine into production.
Wonderful.
That's what high grade does for you.
That's exactly what high grade does for you. So the shareholders, they're coming away with some cash in their pockets and shares in Pan American Silver.
Yeah, it's roughly 25% cash and 75% shares, and there'll be some juggling done for people who want more cash or more shares. But I think everybody gets a crack at 25-75 to begin with.
Well, that's still, when you've got a grade A company like Pan American Silver that's bought you over, those shares are worth something as well. So I can't see anybody objecting.
And they've been paying dividends for years. So I'm very happy to be getting into or being brought into a stock that's has a long track record of paying dividends. Let's put it that way.
Well, I want to thank you for two things: your time to sit and go through the merger and acquisition with me, and to point out that I should have listened to you 2 or 3 years ago. It's my fault that we're here.
Remember that past performance is no indication of future performance. So do your due diligence on getting involved in anything else I'm involved in.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. I'll just chalk that up to another thing I regret not doing. Thanks very much for your time, Peter.
Pleasure, Michael.
The Prospector News podcast is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and are not to be taken as investment advice. Listeners need to do their own due diligence and seek advice of a licensed investment advisor.